Oh. Okay, so I'm just gonna wait for people to join, a few people to join. Hello, we're going to be talking about April, the month of April. I've titled this as the month of beauty because we're going to be dealing with a lot of Venetian themes. Of course, Venus rules beauty. Hello, Danielle. Welcome. How are you? Good to see you here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start this and then whoever joins will join. So hello, Cosmic Warriors. Welcome back to another video. And if you are new here, my name is Hannah. I am a Western Practical Astrologer. And I'm here today to talk about the month of April. So looking at the astrology forecast for April. Now, do make sure to, hi, welcome, hello. So do make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, click the bell, keep updated with new videos and everything. But yes, let's get into this. So I am going to show you this presentation. Also, if you're interested in my services, you can go to hannahselsewhere.com. There you can find my readings, you can find my practical astrology ebooks, my guide, my merch, all that good stuff. So here we go. April. So Easter falls this month. So to any of you who celebrate Easter as a holiday, happy Easter. I love Easter because I get to eat loads of chocolate. So, okay, so these are some of the important dates that we're going to be looking at today. Just read through all of these dates. So we're looking at Mercury in Taurus, the full moon in Libra. Mercury will conjunct the North Node in Taurus, actually a few hours after the full moon in Libra takes place. Venus will move into Gemini. There will be that Saturn square to Venus on the 14th. This solar eclipse in Aries, which is going to be very powerful, there on the 20th. And then soon after that, Taurus season begins. And then soon after that, Mercury retrograde in Taurus begins. And then we have that Sun conjunction to the North Node in Taurus there toward the end of the month. So I just want to inform you here that with the Taurus season, we're going to be talking all about Taurus season on the Cosmic Warriors Club. So if you're interested in joining the club, it is cosmicwarriorsclub.com. We're also going to be talking about Mercury retrograde in Taurus over there. So this is really what is provided in the Cosmic Warriors Club. If any of you are interested, we actually have the Aries season information available. That live stream was already done, but there are replays available. And also there is a video talking all about Saturn entering Pisces, as well as the Pluto entering Aquarius transit. So you can find those videos there. And then the last thing I want to mention with this is on the 28th, so I believe that is Tuesday, we're going to be talking about Mars entering Cancer. So today, right, the 25th of March, Mars has entered into Cancer after being in Gemini for the past 7 months. How are we feeling about that? Do you have any comments? Do you feel any different? Do you feel any shifts? I'll just draw from my own experience with this. I feel like I'm a lot more tired and a lot more sleepy today. I feel like I've needed to rest a bit more. And it's interesting because with the Mars energy entering into Cancer, it's also making that trine to Saturn in Pisces. You know, Pisces and Cancer together, very emotional, very sensitive. So looking at our energy levels there and just more so considering how we feel truly. And being able to disconnect, being able to rest and recharge when we need to. So I would say that going to this energy, moving to this energy has been quite helpful for me because over the last 7 months, it's just been very much go, go, go when it comes to my career, when it comes to my professional life. So I have a Virgo rising, I have the Gemini energy in the 10th house. So with Mars lighting up that 10th house for me, it has just been very busy and I've been doing a million things at once. Now, I am kind of glad in a way because I've been able to readjust a lot of things. There's been a lot of flexibility needed. I've been able to achieve a lot. But I think at the same time, it's good to be able to move, to come out of a period where it has been like that and to pay more attention to how I'm feeling. So maybe a lot of you or some of you can relate to this energy where it's just like, there's an emotional release of sorts. It's more so about taking action based upon how we feel versus taking action based upon what our mind is saying. Can give us an opportunity to rest a bit more. Though at the same time, I do feel the need to say that Pluto is making that in conjunction to Mars as well, because Pluto has just entered Aquarius. So there is the in conjunction, and that can suggest tension. Things are starting to amp up. I've been noticing with Pluto entering Aquarius, and it's just the beginning. Pluto will be in Aquarius for a few months. It's going to retrograde back into Capricorn a couple times, but then by the end of 2024, it will begin its 20 to 22 year transit. So Pluto, will enter Aquarius then. So we're going to see the real effects of it. But even now, I am noticing these changes. I don't know if any of you have heard about this whole talk about possibly banning TikTok. Interesting. Because with Pluto in Aquarius, it can perhaps point toward the fall, the collapse of certain social media platforms. Could YouTube be on that? Who knows? Who knows? Really. So interesting stuff. But enough of that. Let's now get into April. Right. So Mercury is going to be entering Taurus on the 3rd of April. And we're going to be experiencing our first retrograde of the new year. So looking at the astrological new year, but even at the end of the Mercury retrograde in January, this is the first retrograde after all of that. So it's going to take place from the 21st of April until May time. But there will be the shadow period. So Mercury is going to also, by the way, I just want to ask before I go any further with this, I need to make sure, is my sound okay? Because I know the last time it was the new moon in Aries video, it was very crackly. I did not enjoy listening to that over. I'm sure it was really annoying for you guys. I need this sound to be good. I value your time. I want to create quality content for you. So please let me know, is the sound good? Thank you. Thank you so much, Danielle. I really appreciate your feedback. I'm so glad. I think it was because I didn't have my charger connected to the socket the last time. So that I think that threw the connection off a little bit. Okay, good stuff. So as I was saying, Mercury will come the 7th of April. So the pre-shadow period really looks at that time period between so coming up to the retrograde. Now there's more information all about pre-shadow periods, post-shadow periods, and all that. I don't want to bore you with the real technicalities, but I have created information about it on the Cosmic Warriors Club, so you can kind of see the specifics. But it's really that time period leading up to the retrograde, and it's when we start to kind of prepare. Okay, there's a preparation happening. So pay attention to what kind of themes come up for you from the 7th of April to the 21st of April. And we're going to get more into these themes. So with Mercury entering Taurus, this is about us being intentional whenever we communicate. There is a deliberation, there's a focus when it comes to Taurus energy. There is a steadiness, and there's this very supportive quality to this sign. And so to have Mercury in Taurus, it's being able to stabilize the mind. It's being able to communicate in a way where we're making sense, we're making logical sense, things are rational, we can make good judgments because of being rational. There's also a smoothness to how Mercury behaves in Taurus, and I feel like I'm trying to show that in just smooth and calm and collected. I'm trying to kind of do that now because I have Mercury in Aquarius, and I'm very go, just very scattered. I'm very mercurial. So maybe this Mercury and Taurus energy will help ease things a bit. So yeah, there can be this smoothness, this gentleness to how the Mercury and Taurus energy manifests. Also relaxing to ease the mind, making sure to take some time just to relax, to do the things you enjoy, to indulge. Yeah, think about the types of things that bring you pleasure. Think about the types of things that can help you slow your mind down. And I think we need this. I think we really need this, especially coming out of the 7-month period with Mars in Gemini, where Mars is this assertive planet. It's passionate, it's forceful. And so with it in Gemini, it suggested that things have been very scattered. We've been very much caught up in our minds and needing to get things done, but in a way where we're juggling a lot. There's a lot of flexibility, versatility when it comes to Mars and Gemini, which can be, of course, it can be helpful too. When I reflect on this, I'm so glad with Mars and Gemini because I have been able to multitask and I've been able to juggle a lot of different projects. Though at the same time, I've also been recognizing that there's only so much I can juggle. So try to maybe think about how this applies to you in your own life. Is it that you've become quite restless, scattered, impatient over the last 7 months? Your brain has just been fried. Maybe you've experienced miscommunication quite a bit. So with Mercury entering Taurus, it's about slowing things down. And even coming into April, coming into Taurus season, toward the end of April, there will be this slowness. So yeah, for one, I am ready for that steadiness in my life. So another thing is Mercury in Taurus is thorough, making sure that all areas are covered. And seeing the value in how we communicate, seeing the value in learning, but not, I suppose, just learning for learning's sake, but more so being able to apply what we learn or being able to understand what we're learning in practical ways. There's a very how-to quality to having Mercury and Taurus. Maybe this could even look like us being more interested in things where we get to really use our hands and feel textures, or even thinking about tasting certain foods as a way to learn, just to touch, to be more hands-on and physical. Another thing is Mercury in Taurus points toward us making rational, sensible, responsible decisions. So with the Mercury retrograde coming up, pay attention to the decisions that you make. Are you thinking things through? And if there aren't certain things if there are certain things that you don't think through necessarily over the next while, you may get the opportunity then to revisit these things anyway, to kind of go back and see what could I have improved there, what could I have changed there. But then I suppose this leads me on to another quality with this sign is Mercury in Taurus can suggest stubbornness. So I think on one hand, this can point toward us not wanting to change things, not wanting to listen, thinking that we're always right. But then on the other hand, it's also looking at where your values lie and what you really do appreciate. And maybe there aren't certain things that you want to change. Maybe there aren't certain things that you even need to change. With the Mercury or the Mars in Gemini, energy, I have felt like it's just been change, constantly having to change my mind, constantly having to change direction and to think of new ideas, to think of new ways of doing things. But maybe Mercury in Taurus is kind of helping us really ease into being more concrete with our decision making, and trusting it in the natural kind of process of things, letting things grow, letting things build and develop on their own time without feeling like we have to change something quickly just because we're not getting the types of results that we want or desire. And lastly, thinking about nature. So I suppose I kind of touched on the food side of things. So yeah, food may be on our mind quite a bit. Our wellness, our bodies, grounding ourselves, getting out into nature, getting outside. Yeah, connecting with our senses, connecting with the earth. All right. The full moon then will take place in Libra. And this is going to occur on the 6th of April. So with this full moon, do keep in mind that the nodes are going to be changing in July. So there's a releasing when it comes to things like people pleasing, when it comes to any codependent sort of sides to our codependency within our relationships. But with the nodes then moving in July, we're going to be entering these new chapters, these new themes to do with the Libra energy. So perhaps it is a good opportunity to kind of think about what really comes up for you around this full moon, what you will be releasing when it comes to your relationships and balance and so on. And then kind of seeing how things play out when the nodes do change. We will talk more about the nodes though. And I am going to be talking about the nodes shifting on the Cosmic Warriors Club, but that isn't for a while yet. Also, we're going to be, during the full moon, we're going to be shining a light on our relationships, really illuminating our relationships, recognizing, how valuable they are to us, what we offer, what other people offer us, how harmonious we feel within them, what can change, where do we differ, where do we disagree, what conflict exists within our relationships, but also looking at conflict resolution. There's a resetting of balance as well. Thinking even about with, it quite literally looks at that balance with the spring equinox and then the autumn equinox. There is the balancing of the seasons in a way. So yeah, this is resetting that balance. And even just thinking back to the autumn equinox, what intentions were you setting to do with balance? Because this is then about us resetting these things, having a different perspective, seeing what we can change, and then moving forward with that change. We will, of course, be looking more at the full moon in Libra closer to the time. I do like to do live streams on here talking about the full moons and the new moons. So there will be a live stream talking about the full moon in Libra. But this is just more like an overview of everything. Another thing is our emotions may be quite strong when it comes to attraction. And this attraction, of course, can point toward the attraction we have toward other people, and even thinking about toward certain materials, what's beautiful, what's desirable to us. We'll also be closing a chapter when it comes to things like insincerity, indecision. There can be that indecisiveness when it comes to Libra energy, where it's like, what do you want? I don't know. I'm trying to weigh out my options, but I just can't seem to make a decision. So there could be this ending, this resetting when it comes to these things. And with full moons, there is the reaping of rewards. So reaping rewards when it comes to things like our partnerships, our relationships, business deals, contracts, agreements. looking at negotiation, diplomacy, even thinking about art and fashion and media, these types of things. So you may find that you gain something, you are able to kind of say, oh, wow, I achieved that, or I did really well, or, I can see how far I've come here. And then lastly, illuminating what is fair. What is fair when it comes to yourself? What do you deem as fair? Looking at justice. What do you deem as fair when it comes to other people? So, I do just want to take this a step back for a quick moment, okay? So there is another thing I want to say with Mercury entering Taurus, okay? So with Mercury entering Taurus on the 3rd of April onwards, of course, it will be making that square to Pluto, because Pluto entered Aquarius. It's there now at 0 degrees. So with the square to Pluto, it could be suggested that at the beginning of that Mercury in Taurus transit, there is a great deal of intensity when it comes to our mindset, obsessive thoughts, obsessive fears, worries about society, worries about the future, and people becoming fearful about their finances, their stability, their foundation. So maybe what I'm saying here is tied to something bigger, thinking about Aquarius in terms of the collective, but it could be that such things are even associated with your everyday life, because Mercury can be more of a personal thing there too. So I just wanted to mention that. But then this leads me on to the 6th of April. So a couple of hours after the full moon in Libra takes place, we'll have this Mercury conjunction to the North Node in Taurus. So Venus, of course, rules Libra. Venus also rules Taurus. And the quite handy thing about this is Saturn will also make a sextile to Mercury. So I can see this as us feeling somewhat steady and mature about our intellectual skills, about money ideas that we have, thinking about how we can build. And that kind of goes back to the whole Taurus thing that I was saying, where it's staying at something, it's sticking at it, it's being steady, grounded. And yeah, I think the Mercury conjunct the North Node is going to show us that from us remaining level-headed and being steady, our future, our destiny, if you believe in destiny, could very well change. Also, this is about real growth when it comes to our values, when it comes to our self-esteem. I mean, having those self-esteem realizations, this could be a complete transition, and kind of recognizing, what, I am worthy, I am valuable, what I have to say, how I think, how I educate, how I speak, these things matter. And this could also look like a mindset shift. And the thing with this is, when Mercury finishes its retrograde in Taurus, it will conjunct the North Node. So it's sort of like whatever comes up for us on the 6th of April with this conjunction, at the end of the retrograde, it could be that we look back and we're like, oh, wow, I can see how what I'm experiencing now connects to back then. I understand. I get it. It's like the penny drops, about a certain financial situation, about a self-esteem situation, a security situation. Another thing is there may be these material discussions. This could even be a material discussion with a significant other, with a friend. I mean, we're also coming out of the full moon in Libra. Well, it's still, I suppose, it's still quite strong because it's just a couple of hours after this Mercury conjunction is happening. And so I would say that coming out of the full moon of Libra, it could be suggested that there are these discussions with others about materials, about our worth, about our security, even thinking about our talents and our skills and gaining feedback from other people, from business associates, from colleagues, and so on. But then it's these discussions with the North Node, okay? You know, the North Node looks at the future, the North Node looks at our life path. So these discussions can really help us. They can push us in the right direction. They may be tied to our future strongly. Another thing is communication karma. The North Nodes, the North Node and the South Node are tied to karma. So think about communication here, and even think about what types of discussions came up when Mars was in Gemini. You know, Mercury rules Gemini. So with this past 7 months, really think about what you have said to other people, what you have signed, what type of things have you posted online, or you know, how have you spoken to other people? Have you been honest? Have you been truthful? Just really consider these things, because it could be that there's some type of karma. There's something that comes back around. Now, this could even be in a more curious, positive light too, where maybe someone comes to you and they offer you something amazing, and it's like, oh my gosh, because of my communication back then, I'm being rewarded now. And then lastly, questioning worth. Really just questioning our worth and being able to come up with these new ideas, but perhaps not necessarily feeling like we need to act on those ideas. It's just more like I'm really reflecting on this, and I can see it. Yeah, big themes to do with our self-worth, our self-esteem, and our value. And this right here is why I said that April is the month of beauty, because here we have Venus, okay, Venus, the ruler of Taurus, the ruler of Libra, Venus then entering Gemini, and then we're coming out of the Mars transit in Gemini. And this is going to take place from the 11th of April to the 7th of May. And it's going to then look at how we can be curious, how we can be flexible when it comes to our self-esteem and our self-worth. So there's this time period at the beginning of April where there's a lot of self-reflection, and it's more about stability. It's more about grounding ourselves, being slow. But with Venus then entering Gemini, there is a quickness. There is the ability to be swift, and to come up with these bright, fresh ideas, and to be flexible about our resources, about our money, coming up with these new resource ideas, thinking even about how we save, how we earn, being able to readjust things there. And then also thinking about our intellectual talents, our skills. Perhaps there's something that changes there. But the thing about the Gemini energy, it's lighter. It's just more of this lighthearted youthfulness. It's a youthful energy. So I would say with Venus and Gemini, it's trying not to take things super, super seriously, and just having fun, being playful, being creative, being childlike, laughing more, just having more time for humor, these types of things. And the other thing with this is questioning what came up when Mercury was conjunct the North Node on the 6th. So the things that came up, then it's like, right, well, now's the time to get things moving, or now's the time to see what we can change here and to show that curiosity. And then, like I said, there is that humor. So being humorous, I'm just like smiling as I talk about it. It's so funny how I go through these archetypes and I can just feel within myself just things changing. I just feel like Gemini is just this bright, fun sign. Humorous. So, yeah, being humorous in relationships, being open to learning from other people, educating others as well, seeking knowledge and valuing the knowledge that we know, and valuing learning, valuing our minds as well. This is time to really, think about that inner dialogue, think about the types of thoughts that we have, and just being more lighthearted in a way when it comes to our intellect, when it comes to our mind. And then, of course, there is that social appreciation. Like I said, there's that lightness I've put in there. It's a lighter feel. There's just a lighter feel to this energy, and there's more of an ability to socialize, to have these more generalized conversations with others, and to not be so caught up in things that are super, super heavy. All right, so let's look then further at Saturn. Okay, so I was talking about seriousness, things not being super heavy, but yet, so this is the 11th of April starts. So 3 days after Venus enters Gemini, there will be the square to Saturn. I suppose there will still be a square even at the beginning, but I'm just, the orb, I suppose, is a bit wider, but we're just looking at the exact square here. So on the 14th of April, this is when we may feel like, oh my gosh, I feel quite insecure actually about what I'm saying. We may get caught up in our minds, and we may question ourselves. We may doubt ourselves quite a bit. We may find that there are still certain limitations when it comes to our self-esteem. I mean, we've been doing all of this work. We've been looking at our value, looking at our self-esteem throughout April, and then Saturn comes along and it's like, you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure there aren't more things that you aren't being honest about? So yeah, this, you can't hide from this. Saturn doesn't want us to hide. I mean, it's in Pisces. And yes, Pisces can point toward things that are hidden, but I can't help but feel like the Venus in Gemini is coming along and it's like, nah, nope, you're not hiding from me. You are going to be honest about the lies that you tell yourself. And you're not going to deceive yourself anymore. You're not going to deceive other people with this charade, this thing that you're trying to be. It's about being truthful. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, Pisces energy, Gemini energy can wear different hats, many hats. They can be these characters, it's with Pisces and Gemini, they can play different roles. You should see certain Gemini people, Pisces people, they love dressing up and playing different roles. They can act so well. But I still think that this is about uh, seeing through these things. I mean, there's Saturn and Pisces there, and it's not messing around anymore. Venus and Gemini is like, no, but I just want to see here. I just want to have fun here. Whatever. And Saturn's like, well, yeah, but you still need to look at this. You still need to be honest with yourself about how you're feeling deeply, like really how you're feeling. So maybe what can come up for us is us looking at these potential self-esteem blockages, looking at any times that we are not being truthful about our worth, about our value, not being truthful about what we want from our relationships. Also, we may feel restless about the security in our relationships. We may even be caught up in our heads about the very value of our relationships, questioning, am I worthy? Do I have what it takes here to to go the distance with this person? Do I have what it takes? So this could look like us becoming quite afraid or just fearful, scattered in our heads about even friendship connections, general connections. So I think what it's kind of pointing toward is breathe. Breathe. Often the mind, let me just say, the mind is such a devious character, okay? The mind can trick us in more ways than we know. And we can often believe our mind. We can believe that the thoughts that, oh, that person doesn't like me, or oh, I look really weird in this outfit. But are those things really true? Are they? So this energy is going to really bring these qualities up, bring these qualities up. But at the same time, this is about breathing through it, okay? This is about regulating the nervous system, and whatever it is that you need to do to regulate your nervous system, whatever works for you. That could be reading a book, that could be going for a walk, that could be cooking a really nice meal, whatever, lighting your lovely candles. I love to light candles and have my wax melts and everything. But whatever you need to breathe, regulate the nervous system, to come out of the mind and actually into the body, assessing any emotions that are blocked, assessing any emotions that are painful. Saturn in Pisces is like, no, it's about emotional maturity. It's about really growing up when it comes to our emotions. As I say, if you want to know more about the Saturn in Pisces energy, you can go to the Cosmic Warriors Club. There is a talk all about it. But yeah, these themes will come up. This is also about us becoming curious, because this leads me on to becoming curious about our emotions. It's like becoming this observer. Okay, often we can believe that our thoughts and our emotions are the things that they are physically us, and I suppose there are elements where it's like, okay, our bodies are going to react to certain things, our thoughts are going to come up, but it's being able to kind of be the observer, to observe your emotions, to observe your thoughts. Well, okay, let me repeat that. You're still going to feel your emotions, but it's not acting on them. It's not kind of going, oh, well, I feel this way, so I'm going to project this outward onto this other person and I'm going to tell them exactly what I think. It's being able to bring some type of awareness to how we're feeling. And if there is something that is difficult, if there's something that's stuck, if we're even unsure about what the emotion is, it's being able to retreat, it's being able to address it, even just asking for help, asking for some type of support from someone that you trust. Whew. All this talk about Venus and Gemini, it's like, woohoo, so light, so breezy. But really, Saturn and Pisces is coming along, and it wants us to look at the harder stuff. But this is also a way for us to perhaps live in the moment and to lighten up. So this could be the other thing of it, where if we're becoming, if we're being pulled down in a way, we're drowning. Maybe it's about being able to kind of reach up to ask for help, or to do something as a way to maybe pull us out, and to look at what alternatives exist, and to look at things that maybe create more humor and laughter within our lives. Of course, whilst not trying to suppress how we're feeling, right? And that's the thing. It's also about validating any challenging feelings and emotions. Now, another thing is, I feel like I've been talking so much about that, like emotional mind connection there. But another thing is with the Saturn square Venus, relationship commitments. How committed are you to certain people? How much value do you put into the opinions of others? How much value do you put into the feedback that you receive from others? How often do you surrender? How often do you give over your self-worth for somebody else? for somebody else. So the last thing is communicate. Communication is key. Communication can be so powerful, but then at the same time, if someone isn't listening, someone doesn't want to hear our perspective, okay. We can't force other people to see, we can't force other people to listen to us. So anyway, these are the types of themes that may come up on this day. I feel like I've talked a long time about this, but there was clearly a lot to say. I just want to pause for just a moment, and I want to read through your comments. Okay, thank you so much for sharing the video to your friends. I hope they find it to be helpful. Gone slow. Danielle, like I said, thank you so much for your feedback. Celeste, thank you very much. That's really sweet of you. Angela, thank you as well. Thank you. Zenergy, this is great advice. Yep, meditating, reaching Zen, awesome. Yeah, there are types of meditating. Yeah, meditation can be really helpful. There are some people though who find it really hard to meditate because they just their minds are just going so quick. But yeah, meditation can be a really powerful tool. Let me see. I get nervous and feel insecure when I perform. I'm gonna not necessarily read it out loud because I'm not sure if you want, or I think other people can see this anyway, right? I can't remember. Insecure when I perform as a singer in a band. I'm always genuinely surprised. I see. Yeah, I love that. I love that. It just goes to show you it's in your mind. Amazing. Nithali. Amazing. Good on you for performing and getting up there in front of other people. Like that is amazing confidence. And I'm sure you sound great. Angela, you mean in a generous way? I don't know what are you referring to? Let me know. But I'm going to move on. Okay. We've been here for about 40 minutes, so there's still a while to go. So the solar eclipse is going to take place in Aries on the 20th of April. It's going to take place on the 20th of April. And it's going to happen at 29 degrees. So this is a critical degree. It's the very final degree. So this is powerful. Not only is this a degree where it's like, okay, we're about to enter a new chapter, we're entering the new sign and we're getting ready for a change, but it's also about us about to enter this new chapter, this significant change when it comes to things like our independence, leadership, goal setting. There are these significant changes about our passions as well. And what is further interesting about this is we had that new moon in Aries on the 21st of March. That was 0 degrees. So that was at the very beginning of Aries season, the very beginning of the astrological new year. So 0 to 29, it's just going to feel like this month is it's going to go by so quick. There's a lot happening. And I just feel like that in general with the way the astrology is. We had the Aries season began, and then we had the new moon in Aries take place, and then we're going to have the solar eclipse in Aries, and then right the next day it's Taurus season, and then the next day after that it's the Mercury retrograde in Taurus. It just feels like everything is so synchronized. Everything's like boom, 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 and whoa. It's like, come on, can you just give us a minute, please? Everything is just happening so quick. Yeah, everything I heard about Aries is supposed to fly. Yeah, I feel that. It's just happening so fast. I suppose Aries season in general can be quite fast. It's known for being a very fast sign, but it's just the way everything is playing out. It's all going so quickly. All right. So with that being said, with the new moon in Aries on the 21st of March with 0 degrees, think back to that time. Think back to the intentions you were setting to do with your goals, leadership, passions, drive, the things that motivate you in life. think back to that time, because with the solar eclipse, this is like what you were setting intentions to. So the things you were setting intentions on are going to be amplified. It's all going to be amplified. Now, it could also be that we feel quite like tired, or just, oh, I need a minute. Because the thing about eclipses is eclipses can be such a tiring time. It can just feel like, oh, the energy is so powerful, but I am drained. I am emotionally drained from all this. But then if you also throw into the mix all of the accelerated, the amped up quick energy throughout April, throughout Aries season, it's just, oh, we'll get to this point with the solar eclipse and we will need just to take a moment, but yet there will be this excitement as well where it's like, no, one more. It's like it's like when you're in a oh, no problem. No problem, Angela. It's like when you're in a concert and the last song has happened, and you're like, one more song. The audience is like, one more song, one more song. And the show just went by so quickly because you were so into it. You're into it. And you just, yeah, we're just like, we need this one final push. So that is what the solar eclipse in Aries is going to feel like, this one final push, but it's going to be a really strong, powerful push. And then another thing is, with powerful energy, a powerful energy shift. The next step, the next chapter, reflecting on new phases, reflecting on new beginnings. And with the North Node entering Aries on the 17th of July, that starts at 29 degrees. Because you think about it, the North Node is going to go the opposite way. So it's going to hit on that 29-degree point where the solar eclipse in Aries is taking place. So whatever intentions you're setting, okay, whatever new beginnings come up for you, which are significant, to do with those types of themes that I've been talking about, pay attention, because when the North Node moves into Aries in July, you may find that things just come back around, or you may find that what you were thinking about, what you were setting intentions to do with, things start to move, and they move and change in strong ways, especially if you have any personal planets in Aries around that degree. Okay. But with that being said, it's a time to be brave. It is a time to be brave, to be courageous. Though with that also being said, be cautious of being rash. Be cautious of jumping too fast. And so with that in mind, this leads me on to more Taurus energy. Because Taurus season, the next day, well, a couple of hours after the eclipse, Taurus season is saying, okay, I see that you have exerted so much of your energy. I see that you've made these big changes. You have big goals in mind. There is a significant phase that you're entering here. I can see that. But you need to be steady. You need to be grounded. Hannah is also, so I do not have an Aries stellium, but I do have my moon in Aries, but no stellium. So much Aries energy is about to be crazy across the globe. There's a lot of Aries energy right now. So yes, being steady, grounded. And I think the Mercury and Taurus energy is going to remind us of these things as well. Being able to think things through, making sure we have all areas covered, because when Mercury does go retrograde, there's going to be more of a mess to clean up. And why would we want that? I do not want a bigger mess to clean up, I need to be careful. We need to be careful. Just, yeah, it's being able to kind of be energized and get the things that we want to get done and be focused on our goals and so on, but do so in a steady, well thought out way. Really think about how much energy am I putting into this, and what steps am I taking? Because I really don't want to have to revisit all of this stuff later on. I don't want to have to deal with too much. I want an easy life. Okay, easy. Taurus energy wants an easy life, guys. Okay, so come on here now and just back on here. Oh, Danielle, you've missed a lot, but this is going to be welcome back. But this is going to be recorded for you so you can catch up. So we're just talking about the Taurus season energy coming. Toward the end of April. So we're on to Taurus season. Okay, so yeah, with Taurus season beginning, this could look like us being greeted with greater patience, okay, planning things out, showing caution, being sensible, focusing on the building blocks, taking care of ourselves. Really make sure to take good care of yourselves, and supporting our actions. Really, really thinking about how supported we are when it comes to the things that we do, when it comes to the things that we want to achieve. Okay, so yeah, slow and steady wins the race, says Taurus. And this right here leads me on to Mercury retrograde. So right after Taurus season begins, there's going to be the Mercury retrograde from the 21st of April until the 14th of May. Again, consider the pre-shadow from the 7th to the 21st, the types of things you were preparing for, because most likely you will have to look over these things. Yes, definitely, Angela. Practical. And Thriller Kid, you like being here? Well, welcome. You are welcome here. Thanks for being here. I'm glad you like it. Okay, so I did say there that everything's just happening so quickly, and it feels like everything is so synchronized. And it also feels like everything is part of this bigger plan. I mean, the North Node, which we'll talk more about, but the North Node being connected in with everything, it just feels like something that what is happening throughout April is connected to something much bigger. But those connections are also strongly tied to our self-worth, and our the physical world, our security, these Taurus themes, and even thinking about beauty. Like I said, this is the month of beauty. Another thing with Mercury retrograde then is Uranus will conjunct it at the beginning. So there are these sudden changes that can play out, these disruptions to our value, these disruptions to our self-esteem, disruptions to the things that we find pleasure in doing. And then we're going to just go over these matters. We're going to revisit a value situation, a financial situation. We're going to revisit a documented security matter. Like just looking at the things that I've listed here, revisiting a financial discussion that we had, reassessing self-worth thoughts, rethinking decisions made with the best of intentions, going over the details of our stability, of our foundation, just, yeah, revisiting these Taurus themes from the 21st of April to the 14th of May. But there will be more of a chat where there are horoscopes and everything at the Cosmic Warriors Club. So we're going to be talking about that Mercury retrograde in Taurus energy. So that is cosmicwarriorsclub.com if any of you are interested. But this leads me on to the final thing that I want to talk about with April, and that is the Sun conjunction to the North Node. Okay, so this is going to happen on the 24th of April. So if you just for a moment, just think about everything that I've talked about today. Think about where we've started, and think about where we're coming to with the Sun conjunct the North Node, because this is like, hello, the future's calling, your purpose is calling. All the things you've been doing throughout April, they're going to be looked at here. And they're tied to something so much bigger, something that is perhaps even out of your control, and it's also like There's no such thing as coincidences. You know, that's funny. So my dad, he always used to say, there's no such thing as accidents. Which it's kind of funny that he said that, because it's sort of like, well, what if I trip and I fall down? Am I not going to get any sympathy from you because you don't think there's any such thing as an accident? Are you saying it was my fault? What? He was an Aquarius, by the way, with the Sagittarius moon, but yeah, he always just kind of used to laugh and say, "There's no such thing as accidents." Uh, and it makes me think about the whole saying as well of everything happens for a reason, that kind of saying. But that again, that ties in with the no such thing as coincidences, destiny, that sort of thing. So basically, the Sun conjunct the North Node of the 24th of April is going to kind of be pointing toward this whole thought process. It's going to be pointing toward a point where we're thinking, wow, I can't believe I'm at this point. If it wasn't for this, then I wouldn't be here. And I struggled with this area, but actually now I'm at this point and I can see it. I can see it so clearly. The sun it shines. The sun is this shining light. So shining this light on the North Node switch is going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to it. It's been in Taurus for a long time. Yeah, with it going into Aries, it's exciting. Esoteric laws and didn't know it. Who knows? Maybe he did, Synergy. Maybe he did. But yeah, shining a light on our values. It's coming to this point where it's about establishing greater confidence when it comes to our worth. And this is a good way for us to really challenge ourselves, to challenge what is worthy to us, to challenge those beliefs, those thoughts that we have when it comes to our self-esteem, and to be proud of ourselves, to be proud of how far we've come. But then it's also looking at the truth. The truth will come out, kind of going back to the whole communication karma that I was talking about. And then with Venus being in Gemini as well, the truth will come out. And this doesn't have to be in a scary way. It's like, well, you're going to get exposed or something like this. It's more so about, okay, the truth is going to come out, and it's about more you being honest with yourself about what you have achieved, about what you have done, what you've succeeded in. And even just looking at the truthfulness within our relationships, the truthfulness when it comes to our financial position. It could even be that a certain financial position ends up working out really, really well for us after a time period of it feeling like, oh my goodness, is it ever going to change? Is it ever going to get better? And then this energy is like, well, look at this. Look at what you have achieved. Even though there was a dry period, even though there was a bit of struggle for a while, but this is where you are now. So yeah, there's just this whole new appreciation, I think, with the Sun conjunct the North Node. And it's also pointing toward us being proud of what we have achieved, even through the struggle, even through the hard times. We recognize that we pushed through that struggle. We overcame a lot of challenges, a lot of obstacles. And yeah, and you know what? Even you mentioned it there, Synergy, with the North Node moving into Aries. The North Node will still be in Taurus up until the 17th of July, but it's coming to an end soon. So maybe this is also kind of pointing toward, looking at the past 17 months or so, 16 months or so with the North Node being in Taurus, and really just saying, my goodness, how far we've come. How far we have come throughout the past 16 months or so, and looking at what we have achieved. So yeah, a good time to just really focus on ourselves, with the sun shining a light on our worthiness, our desires, what we've succeeded within. And then another thing is us feeling good about our path, strengthening our ego. I'm just going to say all these really positive things right now. Strengthening our ego, feeling attractive, magnetism, embracing our talents, looking at self-love as well, caring for ourselves. And I'm not meaning this in this very showy, flamboyant, like, look at me, I need to do the most of the most type of way. To love yourself, to have a healthy ego, is just to accept who you are, and not to feel like you have to compensate for anything. There's just such an emphasis here on self-acceptance, but in a way that's just calm. It's calm and steady. And that's Taurus. That is Taurus energy. So, with all of that being said, that is April. You've been here for an hour. I did not expect this live stream to be an hour long, but I just want to take the time here to say thank you all so much for being here today. Thank you for listening. And if you did enjoy this live stream today, then you can buy me a coffee if you would like. There's the little code there. And then I believe the link should be in the description box for the buy me a coffee. But yeah, up to you. But still, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm just going to read a couple more comments before I jump off, because I do see that there are a couple before I go. First accident health for my parents here, Sun Mercury. Excuse me. I'm excited for the Martian energy and Mars to move along too. Yeah, okay, cool. Good to hear. Exactly. I think the Aries new moon started this new moon, or the Aries new moon started this new cycle of self-love and self-care. Yes, I love it. Aries is like, I am who I am. I'm confident. I'm adventurous. I'm willing to go on an adventure. I'm willing to push myself forward out into the unknown. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm going to jump. It's like the Fool card, right? The Fool card, just jumping and taking a chance, taking a risk. Amazing. Thank you so much. Thanks. Yes, you too. Have a good day. Hello to you. And yes, Danielle, thank you so much as well. But as I said, everyone, thank you all for listening today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that I was able to talk about April. I hope there isn't anything that I missed. If there is anything that I've missed, maybe I'll even add it to the comment section, whatever have you. But thank you so much. I hope April is a great month for you. And I hope to possibly even see you at the Cosmic Warriors Club. So that's cosmicwarriorsclub.com. We're going to be talking about Mars entering Cancer on Tuesday. Well, it entered Cancer today on the 25th, but the talk is on the 28th. And then there's a lot of other information you can find there. There's your horoscopes and everything there. So there's a lot of extra content and information you can find. And then if you are interested in my services, you can go to hannahselsewhere.com. There's the guide, eBooks, everything. But with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And I'm going to get going. And I hope you have a lovely weekend. Okay? Bye. Take care.